This is an automated broadcast on every frequency. The Planetary Senate has initiated Emergency Protocol Alpha. Last night at 4:50 Ellarion Standard Time, the machines attacked. All major cities in Ellarion, Karolina, and Osiris have been destroyed. On this day of sorrow, we have no time to mourn. We fight for our very survival. All ships maintain radio silence and follow emergency protocol. May the wisdom light your way. End transmission. This is an automated broadcast on every frequency.
Odysseus First Light is a Finnish-style live-action role-playing game where 104 players become characters in an epic sci-fi story. It is inspired by science fiction we all love: Battlestar Galactica, Stargate, and Star Trek. But Odysseus is set in an original universe and it has its own lore.
As a player, you step into a pre-written character with a fully fleshed out past, meaningful relationships, loyalties, and desires, and they'll all come into play in unfolding this incredible story.
Over 600 players have already experienced this back in 2019 and 2024. Back then it was run by a big and amazing crew of volunteers. But our plan is to bring the spaceship back so that you have a possibility to experience the story of Odysseus.
To kick things off, we're going to need the help of you guys, our players. We're trying to run and build a fully immersive spaceship, and that'll mean employing a large team for at least 2 years.
The excellent thing about crowdfunding is that we will only move forward if you also believe in this project. Our backers will know our plans, our goals, and where the money goes from day one.
When you back the campaign, you are essentially buying a ticket in advance. If our goals are reached, you will be able to book a spot in one of the runs as a character in the story. You will be able to pay in installments, and you won't be charged anything unless the goal is reached.
We're planning on doing 10 runs starting October 2026, and we'll definitely add more if we exceed our goal.
We want to bring Odysseus back and keep running games for as long as people want to play them. But we also want to give back to the community. We want to create a space that also others can use. So we're hoping to open the doors of our spaceship for other LARP creators and event runners.
We want more people to experience cool things. Groups such as children, youth, and beginners are definitely some who we want to provide for. This is a passion project for us, and we want to share it with absolutely everyone, if possible.
It was my first LARP, and it was absolutely amazing.
What made Odysseus special for me was the atmosphere, the spaceship.
You kind of feel like you're on a film set for almost 50 hours.
It felt like a combination of so many spaceships that I've seen on TVs and movies that it felt really real.
Experience was life-changing. It is so good.
In my 15 years of LARPing experience, the single best game experience I've ever had.
so much for joining us today. We are so excited to be finally having this chat. We have been dreaming about this for months, and we've finally been able to get all of these amazing, imaginative, productive LARP creators all here in one virtual space, and I am so excited to get to share all of these wonderful things, share these people with you today. My name is Sophie, and I am one of the Ellarion Tales team members. I am responsible for all of our lovely IT systems. So you haven't seen much from me yet, but that's because that's much more of a on the ground once we're running sort of thing. So I'm very happy to be able to come and hang out today. And let's see. Well, let me go ahead and let's introduce some of these lovely people. So, please go ahead and give me a quick introduction of who you are. Oh wait, no, I've forgotten all the why we're here today after all. Laura, can you please give us a little introduction into our wonderful Indiegogo campaign and why the heck we're here besides just talking about LARP?
Yes, I can do that. So hello everyone. I'm Laura Kröger from Ellarion Tales as well, and we are here to discuss with some awesome LARP organizers all over the world about spaceship and spaceship LARPs. We are currently having an crowdfunding campaign for Odysseus First Light project in Indiegogo, hoping to bring back the Odysseus LARP, which has been run twice already. First time in 2019 and the second time in 2024. And we are hoping to be able to build a permanent location where we could run not only Odysseus, but also some other cool spaceship or space-related LARPs as well. So that is why we've invited these awesome people to chat with us about things that they might be interested in doing in such a space.
Exactly. So then let's go ahead and meet our wonderful cast today, starting with Alessandro. Can you please tell me who you are and what is your background in LARP?
Everyone, thank you for having me. I'm Alessandro Giovannucci, LARP organizer and designer from Italy. I started as a part of a very nerdy bunch of people in the early 90s. So you can imagine, I will be very brief. You can imagine everything if I say that to you. We start with tabletop and then we went to LARP. We discovered in a fanzine magazine that was possible to do that in person. So we did it and we never stopped since. We started in 1992 and we organized some LARP that are now international, like Star Expedition, Miskatonic University, The Secrets We Keep. And we started to relaunch an event from us, which is Bunker 101, which will run this summer again. We will spend, I don't know how many weekends underground, saved from Italian unbearable hot summer. So if you want to be fresh with us, this is a possibility. And thank you for having me.
All right, Maciej.
Hi, I'm Maciej. I'm a producer for many LARPs currently. I have the honor to manage and lead Wonderlab Foundation, and I kind of started like Alessandro in the 90s, a little bit later, but about 1998, where we all did the vampire LARPs and everything. But then I had a brief career break, and then I have returned a few years ago, I think 5 years ago, for College of Wizardry, and then we started thinking about making our own organization. So then we created WonderLARP, and since then we made College of Wizardry, Convention of Thorns, Adventures Academy, Whispering Isle, Heirs of the Dragon, and I, of course, had the pleasure and absolute honor to be a lighting lead at Odysseus, which was one of the best experiences in my life, and I can't wait to go back. Thank you.
Go ahead, Karolina.
Hi, I am Karolina Fairfax. I am also part of the Wonderlarp Foundation as the lead narrative designer. I actually started LARPing before I knew I was LARPing. I was a scout, a Girl Scout, and I was preparing games for my fellow scouts with a lot of plot and stuff like that. And it was years later, in like mid-2000s, when somebody took me to an actual LARP and explained, hey, this is what you've been doing all along. So I wrote my first LARP in 2010, like first proper LARP that I knew what I was doing, kinda. I am still learning. I love to work with other creators and learn from them and share experiences. I also had the pleasure of working on Odysseus and writing some characters, working backstage, and I also can't wait to go back.
And Sean.
Hello, I am Sean Mooney. I co-run the Mooney Bin with my lovely wife, AJ. I've been telling stories with my friends since before I knew there was books and systems to do it, since I'm single digits of age. But I started LARPing about 25 years ago. I started running games shortly after that. But I always felt kind of bound by the stats and mechanics in like Vampire the Masquerade and things like that I started on. And I was always trying to get back to that feel of the more collaborative storytelling that I'd started on before all the books got involved. A couple years ago, 2024, I went to my first freeform game and my world just opened up. I felt like I'd found the community I've been looking for the past 20-ish years and jumped in with both feet. I cannot wait to go to Odysseus. I'm very much looking forward to it. And I feel that finding this community has given me the permission to run the games that I really wanted to and access the community I was looking for.
Excellent. It is a privilege to have all of you here with us. And that was our round of introductions. And I already shortly introduced myself at the beginning, but I am Laura Kröger. I am lead producer, lead narrative designer in both Odysseus. I've been LARPing since 2000, so over a quarter of a century, and running LARPs almost as long. I have my deep passion in storytelling and creating these highly immersive and emotional LARPs about relationships, but also with Odysseus, I was the one starting to gather that team of over 200 volunteers that ended up creating those amazing games, not just the stories, but everything, like the atmosphere and the place and everything around it.
Wonderful. Thank you all for giving us an idea of who you are. But I'm sure many people in our chat know you and love your work and have participated in a ton, but it's great to get the introductions just in case there's, some lovely curious people who are excited about joining our community here. So yes, some of you may have already mentioned this, but let's just do a little round just to get it out there. Have you played or volunteered for Odysseus before, and what was your experience like with that if you did? So if we can go with the same order.
Okay. Yes, I played in 2024.
Nice.
And I was playing the former captain of the Odysseus, the ship. Was a very twisted guy. I mean, with a very hard past and present in alcohol addiction because of a lot of regrets. And of course, was nice. I had an amazing, miserable time. Was exactly what the experience promised me. So I was very happy. I experienced a lot of emotion and tears and difficult choices. So it was my experience as a player. I had some highlights. For example, one was really related to, was a cool scene, intense scene, but also I found that impressive because it was very much related to my role on the ship, so the experience as a general. So I was doing my I was in command, let's say, for the shift, and there were difficult choices to be made because when you are bridge crew, you have to do that. And so they were like, we move fast or we stay and fight. What we do, there are other ships other spaceship that we can help, or we must more just escape to be safe. And then we decide to do something risky. And then I remember there were all these small lights on my monitor that was our sisters' ships. And when we did our choice, basically some of them start to disappear because they died because of our choice. It was the right choice to survive, but was our choice because other people were in in danger, and so we did some mistake even if we did good. And this balance, this dichotomy, stay with me until the end of the LARP. And so it's also my character was divided. And so I remember myself looking at the screen and like crying because those lights were disappearing. And at the end of the day, when you think about that after the LARP, you're just a strange guy crying because of a screen and some lights on the screen. But the fiction was so intense that was clearly human life back in the ship. So it was good experience.
Maciej.
Yeah, my turn. Yeah, so I both volunteered in building the ship, and I have played the Odysseus. For me, the building this thing was the most creative and most fun thing that really I have done in years, and having been able to install and connect all these lights and see them come to life, and also the jump drive which we designed together, like this all gave me like a lot of possibility. Like it created a lot of possibilities, and shown me that real like theatrical effects can be used in LARP, and it will always be like a memory what can be done, and really what should be done in the future, because like we live in the future, and it's time to make LARPs in the future too. So and Odysseus proved that it's possible, and it's possible to do it like in one very professional level and with fabulous people, and like yeah, it was really great. In terms of playing it, that this was my first big LARP in 25 years, so I felt kind of lost for some time, but then I have found my way, and I tried to play this LARPs on my my way, I would say. Yeah, so that's it for me.
Thank you. Karolina.
I played Odysseus in 2019, I suppose. The second run. I had a great time. I played a Marine in a fantastic team with whom I still stay in touch, especially in the pandemic. We all wore our Odysseus t-shirts and went on a call and just reminisced for hours. It's great. That experience made me love those big LARPs with plenty of scenography and super immersive environments even more than before, because it was the first time that I saw it done on such a scale, and it blew me away. It took me a couple of hours, I think, to collect my jaw from just hanging open like a none too bright child. I was just walking around going, which made me probably look not very competent as a Marine, but that's okay. And then recently I came back as an NPC for the 2024 runs, and I had a blast as well, especially since I got to explore and experience the other part of roleplay. So if you're a Marine and you go against the enemy, and now suddenly you're the enemy, you get to see what these guys see, and you get to pull all the strings that you remember being pulled for you, and then maybe do something else, something more, especially if the organizers give you a clean slate and tell you, do your worst. that for a LARPer, for an NPC, these are magical words. Magic happens when you give us this kind of freedom. So I had an absolute blast. And I think that considering whether playing or NPCing were more fun, I'm unable to answer that question. Those are two completely different experiences, but I think they gave me a really good glimpse into how this game works and what to do to draw the most out of it.
Indeed. And Sean, you haven't played.
I have not played yet, but I am also looking forward to seeing the amazing scenography and hopefully crying at lights going out.
Indeed.
It's more likely than you think, even if you're just backstage.
I judge a LARP by a good cry and a good fight. So no, I believe that this game can move emotions. I've heard so many wonderful stories, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully attending either later this year or next year.
Excellent. I mean, Laura, we know you've been involved.
I haven't played either. I have been too busy on the backstage in every time. So, but yeah, it's like Karolina and Maciej said, it's an amazing experience also from behind the scenes. If we get to do this, it would be amazing to at some point maybe play it myself as well. But for now, it's been coolest things I've done in my life to run this LARP 6 times.
Wow, yeah, it's been 6 times.
Yeah.
We're gonna do another 10 more. Speaking of which,
absolutely.
If you would like to participate in any of our 10 opening runs of Odysseus First Light, please go check out our Indiegogo page. It is Odysseus First Light by Ellarion Tales, and we have ticket pre-orders, basic pre-sales happening there all the way up until April 16th. So you've got a little bit of time, but like you better do it now. That way you don't forget and then the campaign closes and it's awkward, So yes, please go check us out over there. There's tons of information, anything you'd want to know about what we're doing and why we're doing it and how we're doing it. You can see it over on our Indiegogo page. But if there's anything not listed there, you can also go find us on one of our other social media endpoints. We are all over the web, and we also have a Discord channel where you could ask us directly. So yes, please come join us over there, and please come participate in our wonderful spaceship adventure. It will be somebody said happy, sad, happy, terrible. It'll be a good time, promise.
All of that.
Let me do a quick check to see if we've got any questions from our chat. Nope, not yet. All y'all chatters are just happily listening. So please let us know. We do have people checking our chat. If you have any questions for any of us here, please go ahead and put them down, and there'll be another chance where I will bring them up to our lovely presenters here today. But yeah, I think that's what we got going now. So let's jump back into things. So the questions for y'all are, as LARP creators, what kind of experiences do you create? And I'm going to have us go down the alphabetical list again. Or I guess it's not alphabetical, but same list before, starting with Alessandro. What do you do? What type of LARPs do you create? Or experiences?
I like to create a different kind of format. People mostly know us for our biggest production, such as mentioned before, but we also like a lot of chamber LARP or create LARP that are smaller, like the Secrets We Keep is for 35 people, last not even 2 days, so very compact, because what matters to us, but also to many others creator in this scene, is like play on the emotion, the immersion, and the relationship. This is the main goal for me and also for Chaos League, because from this relationship you can have also what is very important in LARP, which is to us, be very plain and simple, is politics, revolution, and try to overcome this horrible society, or at least try to make a bit better. So, and this is very powerful tool. LARP is a very powerful tool to achieve that, because through the immersion, to deepen inside you and exchange with the other, then you are more ready to accept other people's views, or at least try to understand, and then be more able to explain yourself in some way. So this is why this for us matters more than the format, number of participants. It's really much about design experience, create that to other people, and location. Everything is a way to achieve other stuff. It's not only the most external part, let's say. So I recently discovered that there is a thing in game design that is called rhetorical procedure, and basically I think is what everyone does in Nordic LARP scene, probably also without knowing. It's like a design that makes you being more attached to the theme of the LARP. So everything you do, everything you say, everything you see, everything you explain inside this system you create is to reinforce the main goal of the LARP, the main theme of the LARP. And I think on a bigger level, also above the teams, there is this way of create a better world for a weekend, for example. But if we do that well, this better world like spill outside the weekend and get into your everyday life. So I think a lot of LARP I organized, and a lot of LARP I played on international scene will stay with me for long, just because of this. So this is why I try to reproduce why I organize my own LARP. Thank you.
Excellent.
My turn?
Yes, your turn.
So I completely agree with what Alessandro have said, and we have cooperated on a few LARPs already, and we have learned from Alessandro a lot. So we are like trying to also incorporate Chaos Leagues and Alessandro's ideas into our projects. But I would say our specialization is the adventure. Like we try to create an adventure LARPs, and we try to take people into a different world and show them a different perspective and different story, something that they would never really experience in this world, and that is something that we try to do, and like in many different settings. So whether it is fantasy or it's a science fiction or it's just a cyberpunk or anything like that, we try to give people an adventure, a story that they can go through and live through, and trying to make them forget a little bit about the current world and leave the new world that we are creating for them. So that would be our specialization in LARPs. What I would say.
That's excellent. Karolina, do you want to continue?
Yes, so to continue building on what Maciej said, because we typically create LARPs together. As the lead narrative designer, I have a lot of control of the stories that we tell. I can probably better than anybody else at WonderLARP steer the character writing a little towards the angles that I want to explore. And usually what I want to explore is the morality of characters and the situations, putting ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances, which can be, like Maciej said, either in a fantasy setting or in any other setting, really. And the plot is just an excuse to explore these themes, to let the players find themselves in situations that they normally maybe wouldn't, well, for obvious reasons. But then there is also another layer to that. I like telling stories that help people explore their own feelings, emotions, and find some maybe leadership skills or self-confidence in themselves. Usually when we are casting players in our LARPs, we are trying to give them exactly what they want and then some. So that when you look at your character sheet, you're like, oh yeah, this is everything I asked for. What the hell is that? And then we just let you take this and run with it. And whether you want to do something with this is entirely up to you. You can drop it, you can explore it further. But on our end, we want to deliver an experience that will enrich a person in some way. In what way? It depends on the LARP, but I personally, since I have a background in philosophy and ethics was my absolute favorite part of that, I love challenging people on those views, on approaches to real life issues through fictional situations. And this is something that you will always find in any of our LARPs, even if they're very lighthearted, type 2. Let's just go out into the field and have fun. We'll always try to smuggle a little bit of that in there.
Little bit of moral dilemmas sprinkled with your fun LARPs as well.
Precisely, yes.
Okay, and Sean, how about you?
I agree with a lot of what everybody has already said. To try to say a little bit different, I really do like to focus on type 2, more intense interpersonal experiences, giving players the agency with their characters, kind of guide their story and affect the overall plot. But with our, I believe as Karolina said, with our themes and our setting, it's more of an excuse to help people explore more difficult interactions. We can use it to explore social commentary. Like with Dresden, we set it in the 1920s so that we could put it in a time of rebellion, struggling for identity, people gaining self-agency and experiencing oppression. But it's also an opportunity for people to step into roles where they are the oppressor. And it's not just a service of providing that antagonist in the players, but also seeing how people get to that frame of mind and why people would do those certain things, and kind of build that, I don't want to say empathy, but build that understanding with how people are on the other side, which does kind of help with dealing with it in real life. And last but not least, finding a safe place to explore difficult topics that might be cathartic or therapeutic, even if LARP is not therapy, because it is a safe place where you can explore things with your friends and really tell stories that you want to either experience or have more control and agency over. We're hoping to do that with Division as well, and focus on community pressure and self-care, nature versus nurture, along with the corporate horror aspect. But yeah, that's what we focus on our side.
That sounds awesome. I think that from I can relate in everything that people have been saying. For me, ever since I started creating LARPs, the focus have been in these deep interpersonal relationships and drama. I love writing and creating complex romances and other relationships, be it a family dynamic or friendships or adversaries, and then have those to intertwine with other similar dynamics and have this really complex web of different kinds of relationships and dynamics, and how they then start affecting each other in the LARP. And that's always been something that I love to do when I write LARPs. And like people are always like, how can you keep up with all of that? Like how can you have all these characters and remember who's related to who and what are the secrets and who's having relationship with who? And but that's like being part of the things that I love to create. And the other thing is these movie-like scenes, so sort of like the sense of wonder and the really stepping into that story and being able to be on those very defining situations where you need to make those hard decisions, where you need to see those small dots going out on the screen, and to be able to provide those experiences to people, to have them like have really profound experiences that feel really real, even if they are just pretend. And that's those kind of things are my top guides of the experiences I want to create.
Excellent. Thank you all for sharing some of your story with us. I have a kind of a quick little follow-up for you all. How you are all great things that have been now on the international level, not just a local level. And so we're wondering a bit, is there a difference in how you design or approach writing and running a LARP for an international group versus like a more of a local run? and give me your 1 minute thoughts on each of these. Alessandro, go ahead and start if you can.
Yes, of course. For us, Chaos League, the difference is not that much into the design. It's more into runtime and communication. Communication can be very cultural related. So for some people, some things are very sure, or some things are not, and vice versa. When we talk with our local scene, of course, we know how to do it. And also you can be very specific. When you talk to an international crowd, you have to be more generic, but in the good sense. I mean, most understandable as possible, more clear as possible. You don't have to leave space to any unspoken thing, because people will assume what their culture tell them to assume. And this is true for everyone. So this is first thing. Second thing, to be very quick, because you asked that and I will give you, is runtime. Once again, when you say to some people, meeting at 9, for some people is 9, for some people is 9:10, and for some people is like, this is an indication, okay, or this is a rule. I mean, it's very clear how to move people, how fast they will be. So this can be very different. It's not a matter of better or worse, but just different, and you have to take that into account when you do it.
We don't really run LARPs in our local Polish language, but we have a lot of experience in running LARPs with other organizers in England, in Spain, but most of our own LARPs we run in Poland. And in terms of differences, I would say that all nationalities have their own way to experience LARPs, and all of the national crowd are different. And for me, it is really interesting to later look on how people from all over the world experience our LARPs, or generally experience LARPs, because this can be very different on the level, on the country where you come from, and your experience in your own local LARPs. So this is really interesting for me. But we generally try to run LARPs internationally, because we love to tell our stories to us as big crowd as possible, and as many different people as possible. So mostly international LARPs.
So again, to build a little bit on what Maciej said, before joining WonderLARP, I wrote almost exclusively for the for the local scene, and now I have a comparison to running LARPs in Polish for the Polish people versus running internationally, and there is a big overlap. See, yeah, this is what happens. There's a big overlap in the, in the approach to LARPing, but there are also some differences. For instance, now I know, also seeing how the Polish people who join our LARPs engage with our content, that there are certain things that I need to think of if I want to reach out to these players. For instance, I know that putting a little more content, a little more plot specific to the characters, and maybe guiding them a little bit more will appeal more to the local scene than it would to the international people, because from my experience, international LARPers like to have a lot of space to do their own thing. Meanwhile, from my experience writing games for the local scene, they like to have a lot of stuff to do that I give to them. So a sandbox is great, but I need to put a lot of toys in there, and then they will be brilliant and picking them up and doing whatever. And then when I give an international player the same sandbox, they will most likely just ignore my toys and do their own thing, which both are fantastic. I just need to keep that in mind in my designs.
Sure.
Yeah, echoing what was said, as far as on the design side for the in-game side, I believe in trying to run the games that you really want to play and just raising that flag high, and you'll attract the community that wants that same type of experience, whether they want a bunch of toys in the sandbox or they want to be left to be on their own and explore their own story. But in my opinion, as long as you are signposting what the experience is, then you're going to attract the right people. And then going to the transparency of communication, it is so easy for people to misunderstand each other. When I first started going over to Europe, I started using the word mechanic as we do in the US, and over in Europe, everybody uses the word stats. And so we already had miscommunications and confusions when I was talking to fellow players and LARP runners. So don't really assume that everybody else is speaking the same language as you, not literal language, but same meanings as you. Make sure you're transparent in what your efforts are, what your safety rules are, what your lottery and your ticketing policy is, and also make sure that you have different ways of communicating for different people. LARPers sometimes like documents, so I usually have a single point document that has everything you need to know all in one spot. And sometimes people like videos because they don't want to read a bunch of things. So I'll try to back it up with like a video message or what have you. But try to reach people in the way that they are most comfortable with. And since you're going to have a broad audience, having multiple options for that is always good to make sure that everybody gets the message.
Indeed. I echo again a lot of what have been said. I think that coming from a Finnish LARP culture, which is sort of a subculture of a Nordic LARP, but even more focused on pre-written characters and very heavy design on stories. When we started to do international LARPs, when we started to design Odysseus, we decided that we want to export this culture, but we noticed that we want to or we need to make a lot more effort into explaining how this culture where this LARP is designed works. We need to have a little bit more briefings, a little bit more workshops to sort of tell those international LARPers that we have these toys and these are the toys you need to play with. You can't bring your own toys. We will provide you the stuff you need, and you will get the best experience by doing what we ask you to do, and to give chance to experience that style of play instead of trying to play this LARP the way that you would play some other LARP in some other international LARP. So I think that our biggest job or our biggest challenge was how do we communicate clear enough what we are providing, and making sure that people who participate, they feel that this is for them and that this is something they want to experience.
Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you so much for all of your insight into I'm hearing communication is the biggest biggest thing. Communication for all of us who are from very different backgrounds but still want to have that wonderful shared experience. Speaking of wonderful shared experiences, one of the things that we are so excited about with the opportunity to bring another Odysseus spaceship to life and in a permanent space is that it doesn't have to be the Odysseus all the time. We are very much hoping that we will be able to be a wonderful set location venue for all of your wonderful creative minds to make all new stories, new spaceship, new space experiences. So we have all asked you, and I hope you did your homework, what kind of LARP would you create if you had access to a spaceship set like the Odysseus, the one that we are currently building? Alessandro, please give us your mad designs.
The problem is not to do the homework, is to not do the homework, because imagination was running wild. And this is what Christmas, so what else? So I will try to keep short, because this is the best/worst question you can ask to a LARP designer, because it can take hours. So what I like about the sci-fi is that it's very, very broad and multifaceted genre. So there is a lot of stuff inside, and it is amazing. With Chaos League, we create Eclipse, which is a sci-fi LARP, which is, for example, a setting which is completely different from Odysseus, and both for me were very enjoyable. So I will pick a very narrow sub genre, because it's already worked very well for being a big spaceship in the Battlestar Galactica setting, because it was made for that. But I think with some minor changes, and I think, of course, I trust you that a location like this can be in some way changed for us, different kind of LARP, being the same, of course, but with some minor changes. Flexibility. I in this phase of my life, I would really like to do something like Sprawl or Blade Runner, or we're in space, but like cyberpunk suburbs in space. You know, like the town, the small town, like the Expendables series, TV show, you know, like this small town out in space related to Mother Earth, but still like a kind of country city. And so a bit like Expendables, some cyberpunk, some even, you know, Total Recall, kind of a LARP, or what else comes to my mind as a suggestion, Altered Carbon, you know, this kind of thing. You know, a bit noir. You go in the town, you have the market, and then the fusion restaurant, and you go to search for a missing guy around, receive information, and from time to time look outside the space and say, yeah, we are here in space with our human miseries, and like, but still, you know, we make here. So I would really like to have this kind of, yeah, I think it will be a town in space, using the room of the big space and the general sound and light setting that was very, very good. And the humming sound we always have as a player in Odysseus is something that I will keep, and something that would be nice to change is like create. It's still a community living in the stars, but this time a bit different. It's like it's more like a futuristic, not super nice to live, but nice to play town.
Sounds great. How about Maciej?
Yeah, so my idea is crazy, and Laura already know about it. So ever since I've heard about Odysseus and we started WonderLARP, we kind of wanted to open up for science fiction LARPs, but our general idea is to give like a 360 experience, and this is something that Odysseus like successfully delivered. And 1.5 years ago, we already started building our own spaceship in our own city. It's still far from being flight worthy, but my crazy idea is to run a fleet, to run several LARPs all over the world in few different locations, and yeah, we already spoke with several people about that that own a spaceship location or are thinking about owning a spaceship location, and Laura also already knows about it, that we would love to run a LARP that spans all over the world with like 5 different ships with 5 different crews, living through the same story and being able to communicate like in the real space through comms and yeah, go through their own adventure together, like several hundred people in space. And this is something, yeah, I know this is something crazy, because the coordination of this and production of this would be like a hell of a job, but yeah, I want to do this. And yes, like Odysseus is extremely important in that to fly like as a central piece, and then several other ships as a part of fleet and a part of a bigger story. So this is something I would love to see.
I'll put in my application tonight.
I can have a quick comment on this. We talked about last year's KP about this, and in Odysseus you have a friendly fleet. You have an NPC players which you can communicate during the LARP and send messages. You get orders from other ships on the fleet, and the idea that we could have a LARP where we have these kinds of ships. It doesn't need to be Odysseus. It can be another story, but have these different ships which are all in the same space, in the same story. They can communicate like we do now through comms from one bridge to another bridge, and have them have conflicts, have them have relationships across different ships, and send messages and fear for each other, and deliver information. That would be absolutely amazing. Karolina, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I am extremely hyped for the idea of a fleet, the multinational, basically spanning the entire world, if possible, of multiple locations, flying the ships at the same time, and then communicating with one another. Where actually, technological issues like comms being down, Wi-Fi being down can be kind of weaved into the story and be a perk rather than a hindrance, which is always great. For the type of story I would absolutely love to explore and see more of is maybe cultural differences between different nationalities, or not real life nationalities, but fictional ones, different planets, maybe different systems. I love the idea introduced in the Orville, perhaps in the other media as well, where the world has found monetary currency obsolete. And there are other ways in which a person can gain wealth, except it's not monetary. So it's more about being a good person, making difficult moral decisions. Again, we are going back to my focus on ethics, and putting players in environments that have different approaches to something like that, and seeing different ships trying to go on the same mission, or perhaps on conflicting missions, but with some overarching narrative where players can decide which side they want to explore by signing up for the specific, experience in a specific country on a specific spaceship. That would be the dream. And I would love for Odysseus and the other locations like ours, for instance, to be part of that and to build this big overarching world, perhaps in an original setting entirely, where we could slowly, step by step, brick by brick, build a world where we could explore whether it is possible to reconcile certain differences, and maybe subconsciously or consciously make some parallels to the real world. I think that it would be a great vehicle for exploring something deeper through sci-fi, which is what sci-fi was born to do.
Absolutely. Sean.
All right. So I would love to explore a world that I actually created with a wonderful team of people called Nuke It From Orbit. It's a love letter to the old 80s, 90s sci-fi action movies and games that we all know and love. Aliens, Starship Troopers, XCOM, StarCraft, things like that. Resos and Eric Hart were the lead writer and technical director, plus a dozen other very talented writers that worked on this. But it moves us forward a few hundred years where technology has expanded and then kind of has collapsed because of a digital menace called the Plague. And so you get this kind of retro, nostalgic kind of 70s, 80s feel for technology, which allows you to stretch a lot more because you don't have to worry about the really high tech stuff because you are pressed down by this digital menace that's going to destroy everything. The world also has a bunch of political and economic issues and factions that you could explore. So if you put all these people on a ship and then all of a sudden something goes wrong, or even if it's just in transit, you can explore, just as Karolina was saying, certain modern day themes through a sci-fi lens and say, like, how did this person get radicalized to believe that this particular faction is the best way to move humanity forward? Or how does this particular person react when confronted with an impossible choice that conflicts with their ideals but might cost them something, or their survival, or the well-being of somebody else? So having a spaceship that is fully created is so much better than my house, which I've been using for small games like this so far. And then if we can throw in some budget for giant space bugs and some cool fights, it just makes it all better for ground missions. So Nuke It from orbit would be what I would try to explore with this.
That sounds absolutely amazing. I think that for us, when we've been discussing and imagining what we could do with this kind of spaceship, the idea that we could have other LARP creators come to tell their stories or come collaborate with us and do different kind of things, that is a thing that really, really excites us a lot. And also because we have created the vast world for Odysseus, that's like a LARP that lasts for 50 hours, like 2 days, but we have built a world which is so much, there is so much things in that world we could still tap into. Odysseus is kind of only a first half of a story, so I would really, really want to tell the other half as well, and to sort of continue the story of Odysseus. And the problem with that is that when we would need that spaceship, if we get to build that permanent location and run Odysseus, then we could also continue that story or go back into the past. There is quite a interesting stuff that would be very interesting to explore in terms of the Genesis journey, which is part of Odysseus's story, and which unfolds during the LARP. But for the players who have played Odysseus, it would be really interesting to go back and maybe experience stories that took place 500 years before the story of Odysseus, and explore the dilemmas that their ancestors faced and which they get a glimpse during the Odysseus LARP. So it would be lovely to be able to tell also those stories.
I want to go to all of them. So I'm going to have to become a millionaire here really soon. But yes, thank you guys. Oh, there's so many exciting things. And it looks like we've got some lovely creatives in the chat too that are just like, oh, this. So let me share some of the wonderful ideas we also have from chat. An alien-based suspense LARP. Oh my gosh. That would be crazy. Followed up with, I would love to see dark horror sci-fi LARP there. See a match here. A campaign game in Odysseus world, either interwar period about exploration. Oh, where did you go? Exploration in Star Trek style or war-themed campaign in the First Wars. Looks like Laura's got your number there. Let's see, another one about alien setting. Its first idea that came on my mind, but second would be Star Wars or Serenity cargo life. Oh, that would be cool. Another option, though a lot of work, would be to do a submarine LARP. Maybe. Might not be as difficult to port that over as you'd think. Take inspiration from Sequest, make the combat slow and deliberate, suspenseful. Ooh, I like this idea. Sonar pings would offer for fantastic auditive storytelling. Oh, yeah. How about wizards in outer space?
Space wizards. Absolutely.
Yeah, Karolina, what do you think there? Yeah. We've got
crossover.
Crossover. Let's see. Someone says, I think I would love to use the believable Ready 360-degree set to target inexperienced LARPers or entirely new audience. Ooh, yes. Come hang out with us. We might have some business opportunities here for you. Someone says, I'd love to see something lighthearted, which I know is not on brand for Odysseus. But hey, that's why we are, inviting all of these lovely creators to come use our space. We want variety.
Yeah, and I think that lighthearted is also like, it doesn't have to always be just this dark and emotional and intense and exploring ethics. That's like that seems to be something we are all very much aligned with. But I think that in having this spaceship with a bar and like a cantina type of space and all those other spaces, you could have like a lot more lighthearted and fun experiences as well, and to have that atmosphere, have the soundscape, have the light, everything there, it would provide a really great immersion for just like a theme party or whatever you want to do in that kind of venue.
So
Run 11 is the comedy version of Odysseus comic version.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The slapstick experience.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you all know what I'm going to have to say next. If
musical, absolutely.
Oh my god. Oh, wow, that would be different and fun. But yeah, so all of you wonderful people, we have all of these dreams here that we've been dreaming together, and we know how cool it would be to be able to play all of these different games. So y'all know what you gotta do now. Gotta get over to Indiegogo, look up Odysseus First Light by Ellarion Tales, and go get yourself a pre-order ticket. And because we are funding this project by our first 10 runs, so buy the tickets, do the runs, then we can see all these cool new extended stories. Yeah, so thank you so much, everyone. Oh wait, you only have until April 16th to buy your tickets, so do it now. Like right now. Go.
A little bit less than 2 weeks.
Yes. Just go now, come back. Well, actually, we're probably not going to be here when you come back because we're out of time. So thank you all so much for coming and talking with us and giving us so many just like LARP dreams to drool over. And I very much look forward to working with each of you, hopefully eventually. And on behalf of Ellarion Tales, thank you for coming and sharing your lovely communities with us.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take this project, people.
Yes.
Take your tickets.
Yeah. Buy the tickets right now.
Indeed. Do it.
If you wanted this.
Red alert.
This is an automated broadcast on every frequency. The Planetary Senate has initiated Emergency Protocol Alpha. Last night at 4:50 Ellarion Standard Time, the machines attacked. All major cities in Ellarion, Karolina, and Osiris have been destroyed. On this day of sorrow, we have no time to mourn. We fight for our very survival. All ships maintain radio silence and follow emergency protocol. May the wisdom light your way. End transmission. This is an automated broadcast on every frequency.
Odysseus First Light is a Finnish-style live-action role-playing game where 104 players become characters in an epic sci-fi story. It is inspired by science fiction we all love: Battlestar Galactica, Stargate, and Star Trek. But Odysseus is set in an original universe and it has its own lore.
As a player, you step into a pre-written character with a fully fleshed out past, meaningful relationships, loyalties, and desires, and they'll all come into play in unfolding this incredible story.
Over 600 players have already experienced this back in 2019 and 2024. Back then it was run by a big and amazing crew of volunteers. But our plan is to bring the spaceship back so that you have a possibility to experience the story of Odysseus.
To kick things off, we're going to need the help of you guys, our players. We're trying to run and build a fully immersive spaceship, and that'll mean employing a large team for at least 2 years.
The excellent thing about crowdfunding is that we will only move forward if you also believe in this project. Our backers will know our plans, our goals, and where the money goes from day one.
When you back the campaign, you are essentially buying a ticket in advance. If our goals are reached, you will be able to book a spot in one of the runs as a character in the story. You will be able to pay in installments, and you won't be charged anything unless the goal is reached.
We're planning on doing 10 runs starting October 2026, and we'll definitely add more if we exceed our goal.
We want to bring Odysseus back and keep running games for as long as people want to play them. But we also want to give back to the community. We want to create a space that also others can use. So we're hoping to open the doors of our spaceship for other LARP creators, and event runners.
We want more people to experience cool things. Groups such as children, youth, and beginners are definitely some who we want to provide for. This is a passion project for us, and we want to share it with absolutely everyone, if possible.
It was my first LARP, and it was absolutely amazing.
What made Odysseus special for me was the atmosphere, the spaceship.
You kind of feel like you're on a film set for almost 50 hours.
It felt like a combination of so many spaceships that I've seen on TVs and movies that it felt really real.
Experience was life-changing. It is so good.
In my 15 years of LARPing experience, the single best game experience I've ever had.